Yo, welcome to the first podcast of the 2019-2020 European season. I hope all of the returning listeners had a great summer, and if you're a new listener, I hope you had a great summer too. We have a lot stored for this upcoming season, and we maybe have the introduction of a new regular joining us. But before we can start all that, we have an interview with David Labonte, right?
Labonte, huh?
Labonte?
Yep, you got it. There you go.
But before we can start all that, we have an interview with David Labonte, the creator of Blancos Fan TV. Oh, if you followed us from last season, David was on for an end of the season interview. So similar to like many preseason interviews, we're just gonna chat about the upcoming Real Madrid season, which includes players, Zidane, and so much more. Sit back and enjoy the first of many There's Always One Goal podcast. And introducing David, here we go. So from the last time we had you on here, you really didn't get a chance to tell your story. So tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, the channel as a whole, and how you became a supporter of Real Madrid.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. So I started this channel about a year ago. You know, I started out as a Real Madrid fan channel, and now it's just slowly growing. I just changed it recently to Blancos Fan TV. I thought it'd be a little bit more, Real Madrid fan channel. It seemed a little bit generic, so I just wanted to change it, and Blancos Fan TV seemed to fit. And I put in quite a bit of time in these past few months. So yeah, the channel is growing. Channel consists of match previews, match reactions, and pretty much just daily live streams talking about the news. As for becoming a Real Madrid supporter, I became a Real Madrid supporter in 2010, and at the time I just kind of wanted to go against the status quo. There was a lot of Barcelona fans coming up, and I can't blame them. Barcelona fans, they were just at the pinnacle of the footballing world. So at the time I was like, you know what, all these Barcelona fans, popping up out of nowhere, I was just going to become a Real Madrid fan. So that's how that happened.
Yeah, same thing with me. I would say like around that time, like 2010, 2011, 2012, like a lot of my friends in high school were like adamant Barcelona fans. They had the Messi jerseys. They were talking about Tiki Taka, La Masia, Pep. I was like, wow, like, they were it. Like those 3 or 4 years, they were the team. And like me, I've always gone against the grain for whatever reason. It's like the most stubborn part about me. Even when I know something's right, I'm just like, no, I gotta do it the other way. So that's why I supported Real Madrid. And I think I had I already knew over Cristiano Ronaldo from his like Man U days. So I was like, that's easier to latch on. So that's how it happened for me too. Was your first Madrid jersey a Ronaldo jersey or?
First, Sergio Ramos actually.
Really?
Yeah, contentious player. I didn't know much of Sergio Ramos at the beginning, so I was like, man, you know what? He's one of the biggest names, So I was like, I'll get a jersey of him, and then I started watching him. And I was like, boy, man, this guy puts in not scared to put in quite a harsh tackle. And I was like, man, I don't know about him, but he's good. I have to give it to him, and I like his character. Sometimes I wish he didn't do some of the stuff he does. Last year it was where he kicked Sergio Reguilon, the ball to Sergio Reguilon. I thought that was, come on, man. But he's a good player nonetheless.
Yeah, I think I grew to like Ramos and like admire him as like he's a true madridista. Yeah, how people say it.
Yeah.
Like I think growing up, I would never really cared for him. I always thought of him as like a liability. I'm like, nah. I don't really rate Ramos, but like ever since they won the Champions, like the first Champions League against Atletico, it changed for me.
Yeah.
Like, I can see him as a leader. He's a really good center back, like really good. And then
yeah, I agree.
And even though like last year they had a terrible year, like it was his team,
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like, well, Madrid may be losing, but at least I can trust Ramos to like do something.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got all the leadership skills that really in today's game you don't see much of. You see it in De Gea, you see it in Van Dijk, but apart from that, you can't name too many center backs that have those same leadership skills.
Yeah, it feels like a dying trait, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, I mean, Madrid has had probably one of the busiest summers so far. They got a lot of their business done early on in the summer, but like, what have you thought of the summer signing so far?
Yeah. The proper signings, actually. I think we consolidated the areas that need strengthening. You got left back Ferland Mendy, you got the striker Luka Jovic, you got a couple future prospects in Rodrigo and Kubo, which was out of nowhere, and he seems to be the real deal. And then you got left winger with Eden Hazard and center back in Militao. So really, like all the positions that you need addressing, they get solved. There's still a few of them, but this obviously it just solves a few problems already. So it's very promising. some of the sales have been questionable. You look at RDT, that one I've been talking about for a long time, and that kind of sucks. But hopefully he makes the best out of his career because definitely a top player. And Llorente was the weird one too. Where Llorente just he went to Atletico Madrid. I mean, I don't agree with it at all. I think we could have kept. I think we should have kept him. I know Llorente wasn't going to be a first team player. I think he wanted first team minutes, but maybe one season where maybe you could fit him into the plan somehow. I don't know, because at the moment we only have Casemiro and it looks a little bit scary. And yeah, we do need to make other signings to compete with other teams across Europe, But for the sales, we knew there were going to be some disappointments. And while maybe I don't agree with some of the stuff that Zidane done, but we got to let him do his thing, Then we can further assess the situation. Zinedine Zidane, he's won so many trophies. How can you still doubt his ability to win trophies? So, yeah, we'll have to see. But for the summer signings so far, I have to say they're very good. I just think we just need a couple more players, I think, and we'd be set.
Right, yeah, I agree with you. Like, they pretty much addressed everything that they can address. I think, excluding the midfield. Like, they got another striker who could help right now, and then they also could help in the future. Hazard helps that creativity role, like on the wing that like Ronaldo left, but he adds a little bit more, but doesn't bring his goal scoring ability. And then Militao center back, and then Mendy to like replace Marcelo eventually. But like, agree with you again. Like, some of the players that they have let go, like I'm kind of shaky too. Raul de Tomas, we've talked about that one. Like, I don't understand why they sold him and not Mariano.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, the RDT one. That's a weird one. And if I were to compare Mariano and RDT, I would say RDT was a better player for sure, hands down. But look, we have Mariano now, and we keep him and just try to get the best out of him because he's a good player, and what I like about him is his tenacity. He looks like he's got it in him, like he's got the passion, Madridista, and I feel like, man, he needs to get some minutes. He's a good player still,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think now that like that backup striker role will be Mariano, I think they should definitely use him to however much he can. He should definitely get the minutes, because I remember last year everybody was kind of writing him off. Like, he definitely does not deserve to be here at Madrid. Like, I don't know how he got here to Madrid. I mean, like, he got here to Madrid because he scored 25 goals in Ligue 1. And like, everybody calls it the Farmers League, but I mean, it's still a very competitive league and a top 5 league in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
So I think he should definitely get his minutes this season. But I think if we have to compare him between him and Raul de Tomas, I would have wanted Raul de Tomas because he's a proven goal scorer. How many goals did he score last year with Rayo Vallecano?
It was 14 and 32 appearances, and I think he got like 3 assists or something. Not much, obviously, but he's really good. I mean, he's the guy that can create something out of nothing, and he's got the shots outside of the box. He had the first touch. The guy had everything, and now we have Jovic. But Jovic, seems to me like a player who likes to be in the box and he'll score. Just give him service. But what I like Raul de Tomas is, I would say, and I don't want to, try to condescend Jovic or anything, but Raul de Tomas maybe could have offered a little bit more than Jovic. Look, Jovic is early days. I don't know much of him, so we'll have to see, I guess, in that aspect. But RDT was able to do so much, so hopefully best of luck for him.
Right. In your live stream, and a little bit like on our pre-pod conversation, was like, how much do you think of Alish Zidane will get this season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not going to get a lot. I think Real Madrid fans, they're super impatient. And I'm surprised, because this guy's won so many trophies, and we're just in preseason, and now we see Zidane has some tronco. I see. What else do I see? I see people. I feel actually maybe not Madrid, but I see a lot of the football scores. What they say is Zidane got lucky because he had Ronaldo. But man, look, Allegri had Ronaldo, Benitez had Ronaldo, Mourinho had Ronaldo. Come on, man, you got to come up with a better argument. But anyway, that being said, he won't get a lot. He won't get a lot of Alish. Real Madrid fans are ruthless. I think that's normal with the stature of the club. But as for me, I'll continue backing him. I'll continue backing him for as long as it's needed. As long as we can see some kind of vision or direction for the team, like in terms of the style of play or building an identity or something like that, then I'll continue backing him because he's proven at the top level. You know, you don't win 3 Champions Leagues and all the trophies that he's won without being, lucky, I guess you could say.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. It's more than like just Ronaldo and more than luck. I mean, that those two things did have an effect like of his like success, but I mean, he also contributes to like them winning the Champions League. But I mean, I as a leash, I think Florentino and the hierarchy will give him at least this year to kind of just rebuild and retool with this squad he has right now.
I see. I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Cause I think Florentino will give him some time. He's Florentino Perez is ruthless though sometimes, but with Zidane probably he'll give him some more time.
Right. I think you mentioned this in like your live stream, but like you said, this season's gonna be a weird one.
Yeah, it is gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be a weird one. I really don't know what to expect for the season. Because to be honest, we haven't seen any kind of identity shaping for Real Madrid like in the preseason, and that's normal. Because you have a lot of players that you brought in, and they kind of have to build some kind of cohesion, some kind of understanding of each other, and that's going to take some time. So, Real Madrid to win major trophies this season. I said at the beginning that we were going to win La Liga at the beginning of the summer. Now, how did that change? Probably a little bit, especially what we saw in preseason. I think the team will take some time, and maybe it's not going to be right away, and maybe that might be at the expense of some points, in La Liga. And if it is, then maybe we won't win the league because really in La Liga, every point counts, and if it could just be by a margin of points that you'll lose, and if it means that because the team still has to understand each other and stuff like that we lose the game, then it is what it is. We'll have to see what happens, I guess. But yeah, the season's just going to be about, at the beginning I should say, it's going to be more about understanding each other, and hopefully as we progress into the season, we'll see more of the team cohesion and understanding.
Right, just looking at the squad, it's kind of a mix. I mean, it's a good mixture of youth and like veterans, but it's also like if you just look at the squad on paper, it just looks so weird, like you're saying, right? Like it looks like we're ready to rebuild, we're ready to get on to the next phase of Real Madrid, but also looks like Real Madrid still want to win the Champions League and La Liga and compete for everything,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like,
yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, the expectations are still there.
Just a big question, like what is Madrid? But yeah, those like you said, those first like couple months, like September and October, or I guess August and September, really are going to be just like, they're going to be put under like a spotlight. Like everything is going to be like scrutinized, like how they line up, how like his halftime substitutions are going to be, because like we, like as Real Madrid fans may see it as like, okay, well, they're kind of progressing, but not everybody's going to see it like that. People are going to see, well, why did he do that? Why did he do that? And the white flags are going to start coming out.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like you said, those first months will be crucial, and yeah, maybe it could be that we'll lose some points, but we'll just have to take it, I guess.
All right. So I said, let's go back to the summer signings. I'll pivot away from Zidane. How much do you think Eden Hazard can change the team's fortune?
Gotcha. Yeah, 100%. He'll definitely change so much at Madrid, because on that left wing, is it the left wing? Yeah, we only had, who was the player? Vinicius. I think that was the only one. And so having Eden Hazard in the team is going to change drastically. It's going to make other teams in La Liga and across Europe, they're going to, Eden Hazard will give them a difficult time. So it's very good. Yeah, it helps us so much. We saw this at Chelsea where he was able to perform at the biggest stages. I'll say the only thing I might add to the Eden Hazard thing is that, he needs other players to perform as well. He needs other players to finish and things like that, because the thing with Eden Hazard is he likes to create, and he needs players around him that can finish as well. He's not another Ronaldo, and people, some people will say like, oh, he's going to score 50 goals this season, but he's not exactly that. He's not a 50-goal striker. We can't expect him to score again like Ronaldo did, like hat trick and stuff like that. He's way different, but he's a game changer. And he can create something out of nothing. So So he'll definitely change the team's fortunes.
Right. I mean, like, he definitely needs other players to step up, because if no one does, then it's just going to repeat of last season at Chelsea, where everything flowed through him. And if he doesn't do good, well, the team's going to take an L. But I mean, he has more creativity at this Madrid squad. I mean, Benzema is is a souped up version of Olivier Giroud, but like beyond Giroud's capabilities. I believe the midfield's kind of on par. Like, I mean, Modric is a little older. Kroos is still class. Casemiro's really good defensively. But I mean, I don't know. I think if Madrid fans, like you said, are just relying on him to change the team from like this third place in La Liga to like first in La Liga, semifinals of Champions League, I think they're mistaken, because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, like you were saying, yeah, we can't just rely on him, because like you said, it's going to be a repeat of last season. He's going to be under the spotlight, but we can't just rely on him. Other players have to step up as well, because Eden Hazard can be a bit inconsistent. We saw it at Chelsea, but hopefully he doesn't do that at Real Madrid too much, and I don't think he will as much. But he can be a little bit inconsistent. That's only normal, man. That's only normal. Some players just are like that. Benzema's like that too. That doesn't change the fact that he's a top player. It's just some of the players are like that. Eden Hazard is like that, and other players will have to step up.
Next one is, how do you think Jovic and Benzema will be played this season? Do you think it's going to be a pairing? Do you think they're going to rotate, or do you think Benzema's going to play behind Jovic? I know when I went to go see Arsenal and Real Madrid play during the summer, I think they played him in a pair. I didn't get to see it for a lot, because Nacho got the red card and Madrid were reduced to 10 men. So that was like a very small sample size. But how do you think it's going to turn out?
Yeah. Like you said, like there's the Arsenal game. Yeah, we saw the introduction of the 4-4-2. So, I think Zidane has it in his mind that he wants to pair Jovic and Benzema together, and that one could work. I mean, that one could work fantastically, because Benzema, he is a playmaker. He's not the best of finishers. Let's be honest. Like, all strikers, they miss a lot of chances. That's all normal. Suarez missed a lot of chances. So all strikers miss their chances. And Benzema for me is just a top player, just because of what he's able to provide. I would say out of the number 9 position. Sometimes he's able to drop in midfield, and sometimes he's able to create on the wings. And so Benzema for me would be a good playmaker for Luka Jovic, because Luka Jovic is a finisher. So like I said, the 4-4-2 seems to be the path that maybe Zidane is thinking about. Because in 4-3-3, you just play one striker. You could play a diamond 4-4-2. That doesn't really work. I mean, Zidane has, he likes his wing play. He likes the crosses in the box, and Jovic could be on the end of that. Because what I saw last season was we were crossing, or I would say at the end is we were crossing, but no one was really finishing. There was no one to finish those crosses. So we need to have someone to finish those crosses. Maybe that could be Luka Jovic. But what I want to say, the diamond 4-4-2. I don't think that's what's going to be. It's going to go with the I would say typical kind of 4-4-2, which is strong in wide areas, and then you kind of cross the ball to people in the middle, in the final third.
Right. That's how I see it too. If he wants to use both strikers, he'll definitely use the 4-4-2, because it'll allow us to use both strikers. But then it also gives Zidane his wing play that he really loves, with Hazard coming in, and then I guess Lucas Vazquez, whoever, coming on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lucas Vazquez gets a lot of stake in him, but to be honest, as a substitute, he's not bad. I said in my, probably you guys will watch this in the stream. I did say, if we could sell him, we could sell him. And maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea, but Lucas Vazquez, if he wants to stay at Real Madrid, he could stay at Real Madrid. He's not a bad player. He thinks he gets a lot of, I would say, undeserved stakes for it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would do more harm if they sell Lucas Vazquez than if they were to keep him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't.
Yeah, right.
Like, he probably won't produce eye-popping stats or anything like that, but he does work a lot. Like, his work rate is incredible, and he'll always be there for the team. Like, I know, like, when Diego Costa got the red card, like, this Friday, he was the one who was, like, chomping at the bits, ready to fight everybody.
Yeah.
And he does have a good one-two play with whoever is in the midfield with him. It's usually, I think, Toni Kroos or Modric, depending. Like, they do play well off each other, but like he's just not the player to take him over the edge. Like, he's just missing that little thing. And I think he's like 27, 28, so he'll never develop that. But he's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Like, his definition is just a very good player, not an excellent player, not a world-class player, just a very good player.
Yeah. He's not that guy. He has, squad player. That's it.
I guess let's talk a little bit about one of my favorite players last year from the dark season, was Vinicius Jr. Do you think he will regress this year? Do you think he'll get the same minutes, or what do you think is going to happen with him under Zidane?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's going to be a regression, but the growth in his development will be halted to some extent. There's going to be more volatility in his growth. There's going to be some bad performances. There's going to be some good ones, and there might be even more bad ones than good ones. That's why they call it the second season syndrome. You saw it in Gareth Bale too. Second season, man, it was horrible. But then in that third season, you saw him, at a different level, and because in second season the thing is, like, defenders know a bit more what to expect with that player. They know how to defend them a little bit more. They know their qualities, so they know how to deal with them. But Gareth Bale was able to take it to the next level, and now Vinicius, the onus is on him to take his game to the next level.
Right. So I got a question for you, or like a hypothetical.
Yeah.
So let's say Vinicius isn't getting any game time at all. Let's say he has like less than 200 minutes total combined, all competitions, Champions League, La Liga, whatever, and he's not doing really well. Do you think it would be a good option to loan him out mid-season to a La Liga side or whoever, just loan him out in general, or do you think he should just take out the entire season and everything?
Yeah, sure. Like last season, I know a lot of people rated Vinicius, and they lost him, and he's got a lot of potential, and his speed is just insane, But for me, what I said last time, I said that if we could loan him out, I think it could be a good move, for both parties, just because he's still young and he still has a little bit to, improve, I would say. And for Real Madrid, for me right now, he's not quite ready yet. I know he's got the potential. I know he's good. But for Real Madrid, you got to think Real Madrid is like huge club, So for Real Madrid, I don't think he's ready yet. If we could loan him out, I think it would favor both parties, because he would get some game time. He would develop more as a player, and for Real Madrid, we wouldn't have to, I would say, not in a bad way, but deal with his maybe not as good performances. If we could loan him out to a La Liga team, that would be fantastic.
Right. Yeah, I used to say, like, right now, I guess my favorite player on the squad would be Vinicius because of the last year, how it was so just popping. You would see the matches and be like, come on, Vinicius. He would take everybody on. But I mean, this year there's going to be a lot more growing pains, and there are going to be a lot like highlights than we see of him. So even though it would hurt me to see him play for another like team for a year or two, I think it would be beneficial for both him and Madrid, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's still young. He's got some time, and if 2 years he can get like consistent playing time, because Real Madrid consistent playing time, we haven't seen it so far from Zidane. We haven't seen Zidane give Vinicius that same confidence that Solari kind of gave Vinicius. So
right. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about the midfield. I think this is the part of the team that has the most question marks. Yet the players surrounding the midfield are the ones that played basically almost every single game last season. So what are your opinions on it, just like as a blanket question?
The midfield, let's just within, man. We gotta be honest, it's not looking the best, especially with the sale of Llorente. That was a bit weird, but man, Zidane got his decisions. I'll back him. But CDM's position, we have Casemiro, and that's about it. Maybe Zidane doesn't want to play. Maybe Zidane will play with the CDM at times. Maybe he won't, because in a 4-4-2 you don't really have a, I would say, real defined CDM. It's just more two center midfielders, I guess. So maybe Zidane will I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking for next season. Well, I'm sorry. What was the question, Ty?
I don't know. I think I was just asking a blanket question about the midfield. Like, give me your opinions on it. How do you think it's going to turn out? Like, because like I think we're probably on the same boat in that like I don't think we trust this midfield. I think it's too slow. It's aging. Like, there's a lack of motivation there. Like, there needs to be just new blood injected to it. But
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it needs new people in the midfield because Modric, Cruz, Casemiro, they're all getting older. Cruz can perform. Yeah, maybe a bad game the other time, but Cruz can perform at the top level. I think for a couple more years. Casemiro could. Modric, no, you can't rely on him swimming down. Cruz, yeah, you could to some extent. So we do need someone else in the midfield. I'd say, if we could bring in one player, maybe it would be fine for this season. If we could bring in another midfielder next year, I think that would be great. But yeah, something along those lines because we do need more players in the midfield.
maybe something similar to like what Barca has been doing the past couple of years. Like, I know we never like to compare ourselves to Barca, but Madrid can't escape that fact. Those two clubs are always going to be linked together for the rest of the time. But I they've just kind of they've been patching the midfield with random like aging South American midfielders. Like 2 years ago they brought on Paulinho and then he went to China, and then last year they brought on Vidal. Do you think Madrid could do something like that? Bring on like a veteran midfielder. It doesn't have to be South American. It can be whatever. But who do you think could fit that mold?
Like a veteran midfielder. Like you mean get someone kind of older into the team?
Yeah, a little older. Not like saying like let's use like this will definitely fix Madrid's midfield problems, but like more of like a band-aid for like, well, this could fix like the midfield problem this season, but like next season that's when we're gonna start really doing it. Because like because I don't think if Zidane goes with Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro, I think Modric would be the weakest link, unfortunately.
That could work. I think, like you were saying before, to bring in two midfielders instead of just Paul Pogba or someone like that. Well, Paul Pogba I think he's 26 now, and Paul Pogba could be a good midfielder for us. Maybe other good midfielders. I can't even think of any midfielders right now, but we could potentially do that, or get someone. Instead of getting Paul Pogba, who's like under 50 million euros, get someone a little bit cheaper, or two midfielders a little bit cheaper, and you could, essentially help the midfield a little bit more. Maybe, like you said, two veteran midfielders. I think that could work out, yeah. Paulinho. Well, I don't know what happened with Paulinho going back to China.
Paulinho really loves China, and I guess they really love him.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I guess he went to China and then went back to Barcelona. He's like, I love China too much, and he went back.
He was the first wave of those Brazilians that left Europe to go play in China, like in 2015, 16.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, it was him. I think Oscar. There was that Oscar. Remember he used to play for Chelsea?
I do remember him. Yeah.
And there was like some other Shakhtar Donetsk player, because that's where all the Brazilians go before they go to a big club. He was supposed to be like I forgot his name.
Jackson or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. He was supposed to get linked to Liverpool and all these other big clubs, but he decided to go straight to China.
Yeah, I do remember him. Let me think. Jackson Martinez. There you go.
I don't think that's the player. It's a different player. I think it's like.
That's a different player.
Yeah, whatever. But I just remember that first wave. It was funny.
Yeah, that was a weird move for Paulinho, but whatever. I guess he likes it in China.
He loves it in China. So, who do you think will impress us on this team this season? And when I mean who will impress, it can be anybody. It can be like anybody in the field, or it can even be Zidane.
Gotcha. So, yeah, Eden Hazard, right? Come on. We all know what he's able to do. He's amazing. But he impresses every time. He like his goal versus West Ham last season. At the end, to watch. I guess I didn't watch the game live. I just kind of watched it on the clip. But man, to watch that, it's just like what he's able to do. But when he does it, it's just like it's crazy. And the things he does, was great, you know. So he's going to be one player that's going to impress me. And another one I have to say is Kubo, you know, the young Japanese international that we brought. He looks like he's the real deal, you know, and hopefully he gets some first team action because he looks. I would say this is funny. Looks like a Japanese Brahim Diaz, you know, because like, and Brahim Diaz is so young, you know. But I'm not gonna try to compare him. But they kind of got like that really intricate, kind of nifty footwork, and so I think for me, I would love to see Kubo on the team, and I think it would be exciting to see him play in La Liga just for a little bit because I wouldn't say he's ready, and especially not, you know. Especially not as a first teamer, but I would say to have maybe a little bit of first team action for Kubo, I think he could do well. Yeah, so I would love to see him.
Yeah, I definitely would love to see Kubo play in La Liga. He does remind me of Brahim Diaz and the intricate footwork, like you said, but he also just has that confidence, you know.
Like, right. Yeah,
and like sometimes when you go into Madrid, you have to have that confidence. I mean, I think a lot of the players do. But like you could just sense it. Like I remember watching a little bit of the Bayern Real Madrid game, and like the way he was moving, like he was setting himself as decoys moving along. Like I mean, really good player. I think you're right. Yeah, probably Hazard is probably going to be the one who impresses everybody this season. But I think another player who could also impress would probably be Courtois.
That's a wow. Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, actually, that's true. Huh?
I mean, everybody wrote him off last year. They were saying, like, why is he playing? It should be Navas. And, like, I agree. The way they kind of forced Courtois in there, kind of booted Navas out was very unfair and just bad look on the club. But, I mean, he's still a world-class goalkeeper. I mean, people remember him playing at Chelsea, and it was absolutely hard to score on him, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Right now, like, at the moment, like, because he scored 5 goals versus because he got scored 5 goals against Atletico Madrid, he seems to be getting so much stick at the moment, and I'm just like, man, like, what could you do more? You know, if you put Keylor Navas in there, he probably would have scored all 5 goals versus him too. So, you know, for me, Courtois, like, man, there's a top goalkeeper in there, and like you said, like at Chelsea, I think he won two Premier Leagues with Chelsea, so you don't do that without a top goal.
Right.
That's a good shot, though, Courtois. I think hopefully he comes good, man. I really want to see it, you know, because I saw it at Atletico, and he was so good at Atletico Madrid. I just remember that. I think he was 21 years of age, you know. I know he's 27, yeah. So there's got to be some more in there, you know, especially from his Atletico.
Right. I definitely think Madrid still got the better end of that Courtois deal. I know people made fun of him last year and made fun of the club, you know, for all that. But, I mean, they bought a world-class goalkeeper for like 30-something million, like close to 40, I think, million. But
it wasn't that much. Yeah, but, sometimes, you know, it's true that I have to admit sometimes Courtois doesn't help himself because he does talk a lot, you know.
Yeah, you're right. But sometimes you need that in a Madrid player.
Like I think that's what you said earlier, right? Sometimes you gotta have that confidence in your abilities, but he certainly doesn't seem to be liking it.
Hopefully this season will be a bit better for him. So I was gonna say, so in your opinion, what would be a successful season and what would be a failure as well? So a successful season is
I think it's really that we win La Liga. I know obviously at Real Madrid, a successful season is winning all the trophies, but come on, we gotta be a little realistic. So La Liga for me, that's the trophy that really we're going after. If we don't win that, to Real Madrid standards, it is a failure. But for me, it doesn't mean that it isn't done out. You know, it's just not like that. That's not how it's going to work. So we just kind of have to. We'll have to assess the situation at the end of the season. We'll have to see what happens. But for me, a successful season would be to win La Liga. A failure would be no trophies.
Right. Yeah, I kind of see it the same way too. I wouldn't say if Madrid don't win La Liga, that would be a failure. I think them just getting closer to Barcelona would be successful to me. Because Barcelona have just ran away with the league for the last 2 years. I think the first one was 17 and this one was like 19, a bigger gap. If they make it competitive and run the title race up until the last weekend and they lose by like 1 or 2 points, I think I'll be content with that. Champions League, I think a run to the semifinals would be really good and lose to the eventual winners. I think I'd be fine with that. And then Copa del Rey, I don't really care for it. I mean, just call me when it's the finals or the semifinals, you know?
Yeah, I know. Copa del Rey is, I guess, I guess if you don't win any trophies, then it does appease a little bit, like Mourinho in 2013, but not much, to be honest.
Right.
But actually, Mourinho, did he even win? I don't even think he won in 2013. Yeah, exactly.
I think his last year he didn't win anything. That was like one of the big reasons they kind of forced him out. They can say they amicably like broke up, but I mean, it was more like they kind of forced him out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That was a weird Real Madrid team. I didn't know whether to like it or dislike it, to be honest.
You mean in 2013?
The whole Mourinho's like squad.
Yeah, 2013. That's the first year I pretty much watched Real Madrid a lot more. It was that season, and oh my goodness, I could feel the toxicity through my screen, man. It was just insane. I mean, Mourinho, yeah, I wouldn't say he was a great coach for us, but he did what he needed to do, and that's it. But that last year was just, oh my goodness, it was just absolutely tough, and Mourinho just. I couldn't take him anymore, and I was kind of happy that he was out, not in a bad way. He did do a lot for the club. I'd have to say that he did put some really solid foundations in there for us to win a lot of trophies in the next few years. But, yeah, that last year, 2013, for Mourinho, it was horrible.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, you can't say that. Like, he definitely laid those building blocks to win those Champions Leagues and everything else. Like, you can't say Madrid would have won it without him. But like, yeah, by the end of that relationship, it was like, let's end it, move on, because it was so toxic.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So I guess ask your opinion on a successful season. So what do you really think is going to happen this season for the team? Like your projections, La Liga, Champions League, I guess Copa del Rey, but that one's kind of a crapshoot.
Man, okay, so yeah, preseason is looking despondent at the moment, but I mean, past preseasons have been mediocre at best, so we don't have to worry too much. But there is something weird about this one, Maybe it's the lack of identity, or maybe some of the players aren't, some of the players that are on the field aren't performing to I'd say to their optimal levels, but expectations are a bit low right now, and probably due to a bad preseason. I think I think we could compete for La Liga. Like you said, yeah, I think we could compete for La Liga. Do I think we'll win it? I don't think so. To be honest. I think Barcelona's going to win it again. I have to say, or it could be Atletico. Atletico looked pretty sharp in that last game. So, especially with Joao Felix, man, that guy looks amazing. I have to say. I was saying, this youngster from Benfica, it's like, he's not going to be, he's okay, but 130 million, the Atletico Madrid, I had huge qualms on him, but now the guy looks like the real deal, man. I mean, he's got perfect first touch, and he's got, he can shoot, he can finish, and he's got really good skills on the ball. It looks good, man. So Atletico Madrid can win La Liga. Barcelona could. For us, we got some qualms about it, but we'll see. The Champions League, I think there's a good possibility we can win it. And some people are going to be like, what the heck are you saying? But I think there's a good possibility we can win it.
You just never know.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. Don't underestimate Real Madrid. Don't write us off, because, it was like in all three seasons, that where we were winning the Champions League, that they're like, oh, they're not going to do it again this year. They're not going to do it again this year. And they were writing us off. So, don't write us off, people. We can still do it. So maybe this year we can, I wouldn't say we could win it, but, we can go very far in it, and, yeah, maybe potentially win it, because the players we have at our disposal, they're pretty good players, and they can get the job done.
Right, yeah. I think I agree with you on almost, like, everything in there. Like, it's going to be Barcelona's league again this year. Like, I know we were counting Messi out, but, I mean, he's still very good. Like, you can't deny he's the best player in the world right now.
Can't deny that.
Right. Like,
yeah, Messi is just insane.
Right. I've always been a Ronaldo fan. Like, I've gone to appreciate Messi as I gotten older, but I mean, it's Messi right now. It's just definitely Messi. You can't argue that. And they only got better because they added Griezmann, who was basically the second best player in La Liga last year. Yeah, I don't know if you follow basketball, but it's like that one year when the Warriors got Kevin Durant.
Oh, gotcha. Basketball. Yeah. Ooh, I don't follow it that much. Kevin Durant. Yeah.
But for anyone who does follow basketball, they'll understand that reference because like he lost the league to Barcelona, the team that beat him, and then instead of like doing his own thing, he's like, well, if you can't beat him, join him, basically.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Yeah, you're right. Okay, now I understand. Yeah, exactly.
All right, and they're just. I think they're gonna win it again. I think Atletico will run them close. I mean, that's a very interesting team. There's a lot of new players too, so I don't know how Simeone will try to fit all of them. If there's gonna be learning curves with him. I mean, they have a new left back, like a new center back, new like main target man. Like, you know, it's gonna be weird, but you know, I actually kind of see Atletico and Real Madrid kind of the same team right now. They're a bunch of new players coming in. What's the system gonna be? How are they gonna form? You know.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah. And Atletico Madrid look pretty good, I have to say, and the Barcelona team, like you said, and them having Griezmann, I don't know if they're gonna get Neymar, but man, if they get Neymar, it's gonna be insane. I don't think that one's gonna happen, but if they get him, man, I mean, I don't know, Barcelona are gonna look pretty good. I would say they're still lacking in the defensive positions, but they do look pretty good.
Right. And then as for the Champions League, like again, you don't really know what happens. Like you can kind of feel like how some teams are built up to win the Champions League, like Liverpool kind of did last year. Like they went all the way to the finals and then they got over the hump because they had a really good goalkeeper and everything else was really solid. But like you like just from watching like, you know, European football for the last couple of years, you would say, man, City's going to be the team to like win it. But you know, we've been saying that for like the last 3 or 4 years and they've been knocked out randomly.
Yeah.
So
I know.
okay.
Yeah, I know. That's a weird one. Yeah, Man City they're always a contender, I guess, and they got to eventually make the step up, you know. But I think it's just mentally you're not able to get over that, I guess. Yeah.
Right. It just again like Madrid could get like a really easy run where they could face like a, no offense, a Ukraine team, the second place in like the German league, you know, whatever, and then next thing you know, they're in the final.
Exactly.
So I think they'll finish semifinals in the Champions League, and I guess second in La Liga, and then Copa del Rey. Just call me when the finals here if they make it to the final. So I gotta ask you a couple more questions, then we can call it an interview. But what do you have in store for this upcoming season on your channel?
Sure. Yeah. So I usually do. It's just what I'll do is the day before, I'll just come out with a match preview. And then right after the game, I just usually come out with a match reaction of some kind. Usually I do that. Like sometimes it's true that I do work and I have to make it to work, and I will be able to do that. But most of the time, I'll come out with a match reaction. And then if it's not match previews, if it's not match reactions, then I'll just talk about the news. And usually just go live on the weekdays, pretty much at 7:30 p.m. That's the time that I have it set at, and then 2 p.m. on the weekends. With the exception of match days. Match days, I'll just go.
Right, and right now, I think the interaction you have with all the fans is just like through live chat. But like throughout the season, do you have any plans to incorporate like live face-to-face chats, or like call in, something like that?
Like a call-in? Yeah, I was thinking about that actually. It's always a bit convoluted with call-ins, but I was thinking of doing something like that. And it's tough actually because I was looking at other channels that do call-ins. What I could potentially do is just have guest speakers on the show, or if some fans want to call in, maybe, I don't know. Because I don't want, I would say, I don't want, a lot of people just calling in, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, So I have to think of something, but I might do call-ins. I'll have to see. That could be a good idea.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Definitely would be interested in seeing call-ins because, people can always type, but, it's always definitely harder to speak it, when you're on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that's true. No, I'll take that into consideration.
So I guess I think you asked me about this, but make one wild card prediction for this year.
Oh yeah, sure. That's true. Okay, so let's see. The wild card prediction. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Bale has an amazing season and scores in the Champions League final. Oh my god.
I know I just laughed, but I could see that happening.
I know. I could see it happening too.
Like I already have it pictured in my mind. Like he doesn't start for the first like 2 months of the season, then somebody gets injured, then he steps up and just carries Madrid to the final.
Exactly. I know it would be crazy if that would happen, but it could happen, man. Because and this Jonathan Barnett guy, Gareth Bale's agent, this guy should have left the door open to a lot of different clubs, and he just closed the door all on them. And now Gareth Bale's left to go with China, and Gareth Bale went to China, and Real Madrid just blocked that. Gareth Bale doesn't have anywhere to go, so I'm starting to think he might just stay at Real Madrid, and that's weird.
Right. Like I don't really care about the Bale saga anymore. Like I think I'm over it. Like it's whatever. But like as like a fan of like just like soccer, football in general, I think it'd be sad to see him go to waste,
Yeah, man, so much. I would never want to see him go to China. I'd rather see him in European football. The relationship with Zidane and Bale is just completely fractured. I don't know what's going to happen there. If they can make something happen, that would be fantastic because it would benefit us, because you saw what, I mean, you were at the Arsenal game, and I think that's where Bale had his really good game. Actually, I don't know if you could tell me about that. That was really, he was insane that game.
Right, yeah, he was really good in that game. Like they brought him on in the second half after they did like all the halftime substitutions, and he was definitely like electric. Like he was part of the like reason why they came and stormed back for the two goals, to tie the game up. Like he was all over the place. He scored the goal to like the first goal, I think. But yeah, he was definitely good. What was funny about that game, like leaving to go home afterwards, like that whole second half of him being there kind of was like just like a microcosm, or just like it represented his time at Madrid. Really fascinating, really great at the start, and then I don't know if you remember, but he did miss the penalty.
Yeah, he did. I remember that, actually.
Again, it doesn't mean anything. Like, none of it matters. But, I mean, it kind of shows, like, it just shows Bale's Madrid career. Like,
yeah, that's right. I understand now. Yeah, you're saying that game was a microcosm of his career?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true, actually. That's so true because, Bale is just up and down. It kind of sucks because, they're so freaking good, and he's so freaking good. He comes back, plays a few games, and then gets injured, and you're just like, oh man, we want Bale out. But then he comes back, and he's so freaking good, and you're like, no, this is Bale, and then he gets injured. So it just sucks, man. It just sucks. But
right,
I guess that's how it is with Bale, man. That's how it is.
Right, and like even on the field or like in the stadium, it was kind of like 50-50. Like near the end of the first half, I remember him just jogging back to the locker room just by himself. And I think I looked over there and the crowd was like, first they started booing him like really hard, like boo, but then it kind of morphed into cheers, like, oh, this might be the last time that we see Bale in Madrid anything, because at that time I honestly thought like, oh, they signed the deal to China, he's going to China.
Right.
And then they came back from the second half and it was a whole different thing. But yeah.
Oh man. Gareth Bale he just got so much class, man. It's true he gets injured and we can't rely on him, but if he does stay, I would like to see him. He's so good, man. He changes the game. And, if he's not injured, of course I would love to see him play because, he creates something out of nothing, and if we could have him as a squad player, yeah, financially he does use a lot of our resources, but and he's such a good player. He can definitely help us. We've seen that in the past. Right.
Definitely agree with you. But we'll have to see what happens. And
yeah, exactly.
I guess one more question. And where can the people find you, the listeners?
Yeah. So my channel is Blancos Fan TV. Just type that on YouTube and you should be able to find me. It's the Real Madrid-based fan channel, and just do live streams every night and weekends in the afternoons, and you can just have your say on any Real Madrid-related content.
All right. Well, I think that's it. Thank you very much, David.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Caesar. I appreciate it.
All right.